Hey y'all, welcome. So, quick question for you guys. Are you like frustrated when your family doesn't support you when you're starting a business or you're starting something new, right? I'm pretty sure a lot of you have felt that. So, I'm going to actually talk about that today when I talk about three distractions that you typically get when you're trying to start a nonprofit. But honestly, when you're trying to do anything big, these three distractions come up. So, that's what we're going to talk about today. Y'all, thank you so much for joining my live. I was off for a week and I'm back. So, I'm going to talk today all about the things that hold you up from reaching your dreams. Is that something y'all want to talk about? Does that sound like something y'all are interested in? If so, give me a yes in the comments. And also, the point of me going live is to build community. So that means that you need to be introducing yourself in the comments. You need to tell people who you are, where you're from, what you do, so we can all build and learn from each other and grow together. Hey, Ali, thank you for joining. Thank you for the brochure. I know I owe you a call. I know I do. Please don't think I forgot about you. So, y'all, hey, Cheryl, nice to see you. I'm excited to see you guys on the live again. I'm actually not home, so I don't have my cash money machine, but I do have my sound effects. Oh my God. So we're gonna have a little fun today. Y'all ready for a little fun? Make sure you guys introduce yourselves. If you don't know who I am Tiffany Allen with Boss in the Budget. I help people start their nonprofits and launch successfully. And my job is to make sure you have the confidence to launch, for you to believe that you can actually do this thing, because you can. If it's meant for it to happen, if it's the right idea, if it's the right time, you can really do this. And that's my job, to make you feel like you can. Hi, Tony. Good to see you. Thank you for checking on me. I appreciate you. So, y'all, let's get started. I'm going to talk about the three distractions that you're going to encounter when you are trying to do something big, and when you're trying to I'm just talking about launching your nonprofit, but I'm just saying anything, right? Hey, Michael, thank you for joining. Hey, Brandy. So the first thing I want you to put in the chat is people. One of the top distractions is people. Go ahead and put that in the chat. And I'm going to explain a little bit about what I mean by that. But let's write that out. Let's get that out, because people will have you hemmed up. But the kind of people that I'm talking about today, because there are all kinds of people, but the kind of people I'm talking about today are your family and your friends. And one of the things that I find that hem people up a lot when they're starting a nonprofit is they get really frustrated when their family and their friends don't either understand what they're doing or don't support. So, how does this look, right? You have a fundraiser or you have an event, and your family's supposed to help you put it on, but they half step in, they halfway support you, and they halfway post it on social media for you. They halfway show up for the event. Can anybody relate to this? Right? If you can relate, drop it in the comments, right? You get really frustrated, or this is how it plays out for a lot of people. You get your family and your friends to join your board. You got a real close girlfriend, and she even is good at like money. She's good at running projects and running events. It's your good girlfriend. Like, how's she gonna let you down? You get her on the board, and when sis gets on the board, she doesn't do anything, right? She doesn't halfway come to meetings. You got to push her to say something or push her to do something in the meetings. You always got to check in on her, and you feel like, why is she not supporting me? Why is she not doing what she said? She knows this is serious for me. This is personal. For a lot of y'all, this is personal. Right? This is something that means a lot to you. So why wouldn't somebody who cares about you, why doesn't that translate to your baby, your nonprofit? Right? This is one of the biggest distractions that people have, because they have expectations, and I'm gonna be real with y'all, they're unrealistic. They're unrealistic expectations. Let me tell you something. My parents halfway understand what I do. And it's so funny because I'm actually out of town this weekend and I went to a business conference. It was awesome. If you're not following Ashley Kirkwood, she has a business called Speak Your Way to Cash. She's amazing. She had a summit this weekend and one of the speakers was talking about how her her father just found out like last week what she does and she's been doing it for 10 years. My parents halfway understand what I do. They know I go live on YouTube. They know a little bit, but they don't really understand the intricacies of what I do or what I'm trying to accomplish. They just know I'm doing something. So why would I expect them? Like if something that's not a passion for them, is something that's not, wasn't dropped in their spirit for something for them to do, why would I get upset that they're not more supportive? They're not here holding up my lights or they're not here they not here like helping me write out my script for my lives or helping me drop things like Yolanda is helping me on the chat. Like why would I be upset with my parents when that's not their lane? That's not their role to show me support. Their role is to support me in my personal life. And the fact that they got me in my personal life means I can do what I need to do in my professional life. And so I don't want you guys to get distracted by the fact that your family and your friends aren't supporting you. And thus you feel like, first of all, you feel betrayed, you feel hurt. Is this making sense? Right? You feel betrayed, you feel hurt by this. Tony, don't do that. You feel betrayed, you feel hurt by what they're doing. And then you resent them. But then you also feel like you get really discouraged because the people who are in your innermost circle, when they're not supporting you like you believe they should be supporting you, you feel like, why should I keep doing this? Nobody's helping me. Nobody's supporting me. Is this even something I'm supposed to do? And this is what I want you to do to turn it around, right? I want you, first of all, to stop blaming your family and your friends when they don't show up for you the way you want them to. Now, there are some toxic family and friends. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about your family and your friends who they're your road dogs. Like they there and they support you. You're usually there for you, but they're not doing exactly enough for you. I want you first of all to stop putting unrealistic expectations on them. And the second thing is I want you to push yourself to grow your network because the way you're going to grow, if you want to get to a different season of growth, then you have to expand your network. You have to expand who you know and who's going to be your champions. And just know that your nonprofit champions is not always going to be your family and your friends. And that's okay. Y'all, that's okay. So I need y'all to get that. Right? That means like when your family and your friends aren't doing enough for you, then that means it's time for you to expand your network. So this is what I want y'all to do because I feel very motivated from this weekend, right? And I feel really action oriented. So I want y'all to commit on this live while you're watching me. It's one thing to watch me. It's really easy to sit in your car or sit in your house and just watch me and be like, "Oh, Tiffany, you right." And then go back and not change or not adjust or not put things in place, right? So as you guys are watching me, I want you to think about what you're going to commit to doing differently as a result of what you heard today. Even if it's just one thing, what are you going to do differently? How are you going to think differently when you approach your nonprofit tomorrow? All right. Hi, Africa. Thank you for joining me. Right. So can y'all commit to that? Can y'all let me know? Hit me with a yes. Just put yes in the comments. If you're going to commit to thinking about your nonprofit, thinking about it, or an action that you're committing for your nonprofit, you're going to do it differently as a result of something you hear today. Thank you guys so much for the yes. Right. So I want you to think about how to grow your network, but I also want you to do this. I want you to surround yourself with a community that understands what you're doing. Because first of all, y'all, let me know if you agree or not. I think most people don't halfway understand what nonprofits really do. There are a lot of myths around nonprofits, what they can and can't do, what they should and they shouldn't do. Lord, let's not go round and round on that one, right? There are a lot of misconceptions. So you got to find your people. Where are the communities of people who understand what you're doing, especially as a startup founder or a startup business owner? You got to surround yourself with people who get you. You have to actively seek that out. It's not always going to just fall in your laps. So when I'm talking about growing your network, I'm not just talking about like finding board members or finding people who are donors. Also find like-minded people who are going through the journey the same way you are and attach yourselves to them. And if you've watched any of my YouTube videos, you'll probably heard me talk about having a mentor, having someone who's walked this journey, right? Who's been through this, who can help counsel you through this time. That's why I always say, hey, Mariatu. That's why I always say, when you get on these lives, get to know people. And it's hard. I get it. I am an introvert. I actually get really exhausted by meeting people. I was very exhausted. Though I had a good time at this business conference, I was very, very exhausted by all the people around me. Sometimes I just go to myself and be like, okay, let me let me process. It was a lot. But you need community. You got to seek that out. You got to push yourself past what you believe your limits are. Keep going. Make yourself uncomfortable. I had to make myself uncomfortable this weekend. I made some decisions this weekend and took some actions this weekend that made me very uncomfortable, but I know it's what I need for my own growth. So you got to have that same kind of conversation with yourself. Y'all got it? So if you are a member, if you are a boss in purpose on YouTube, that is my special membership community. If this resonates with you, I need y'all to drop your badges right now. I have my little diamonds. That means I'm dropping gems. I need to see y'all badges so I know y'all are with me. And if you want to support me by giving me a super chat, you can give me $1. You can give me $5 because the sister got to get back home. No, I got money to get back home. You can give me a super chat on YouTube as well. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. I don't have my money machine with me this tonight because I'm not home, but I got you when I get back. I got you when I get back. Oh, Rich with attitude. Thank you for the gem on Instagram. Thank you, Cheryl, for the super chat. Tony, I'm not fooling with you. I know Tony in real life, so I'm not fooling with him. All right. So we're talking, if you're just joining, I am in Atlanta. That's where I am right now, y'all. If you're just joining me, I'm talking about the top 3 distractions you're gonna have when you are starting your nonprofit. Thank you so much, Cheryl. You are the bomb. You always support me. I love you. Thank you so, so much for sewing into me. And I hope there's something that I've done for you that has sewed into you and your organization. But we're talking about the top 3 distractions that you're going to get when you're starting a nonprofit. Hey, China, oh, you live in Atlanta? I am in Ackworth. I think that's where I am. All right. So the second distraction, y'all, I want you to put in the chat yourself. I want you to put in the chat yourself. Right? Tony talking all that smack. He's talking about he got me. Then he needs to send me a super chat then. Put your money where your mouth is, Tony. All right. Put yourself in the comments. That's your second distraction. Yourself. I'm going to break this down and explain. How many of you guys know that our thoughts are really, really powerful? Like what you believe about yourself will come to pass. So if you believe negative things about yourself, typically that will come to pass. If you believe positive things about yourself, typically that will come to pass, right? So one of the things that really distract you on your journey is the thoughts that cloud your mind that keep you from whatever it is you're trying to do. Oh, Latricia, thank you for the super chat for $10. You get to raise the roof. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, I got sound effects. I don't even need to use my mouth. Let's see. Sure, I'll give you a clap. Thank you, Latricia, for the super chat. Our thoughts really get in the way. And here are some of the ways our thoughts get in our way. Hey, Miss Shirley. I don't believe that I know enough people. And so this organization really isn't going to grow the way I need to grow because I don't know enough people. Or I hear this a lot and I talk about this a lot. Money is tight right now. Nobody's giving, which is not true, but nobody's giving. People don't have it right now. Everybody's suffering. We're about to hit a rough patch and I shouldn't be raising money right now because why? right? Or I'm a nonprofit, I'm a charity. So why would I be asking for money? That's begging. Why would I be begging anybody for money? Right? That's not me. I'll figure it out. I'll make sure it gets paid, but why I gotta ask other people for money? Our thoughts really hem us up. Our thoughts really sabotage us from what we're trying to do with our nonprofits. Brandy said, "Yep." And sometimes you don't even realize it. Like your thoughts can actually translate into actions. And the way it translates into action for me is procrastination. And I have a tendency when I know I should be working on something, when I know it's something I need to do, and I know it's something that's going to further me, I will spin my wheels or come up with imaginary problems or imaginary reasons why I can't complete it, right? And suddenly 2 hours has passed, and I'm like, I don't have enough time to do things. I don't have enough time. I have too much on my plate, and it's just overwhelming. When really it's my lack of discipline and it's my lack of focus that has caused me to be hindered or not reach what I'm trying to reach or accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. Kilolo says so true, right? So I want you to think about the thoughts that you often think in your mind that sabotage you when it comes to your nonprofit, because this is one of the biggest things that's going to stop you. This is another way it stops you, y'all. I'm not going to reach out to her. Why would I email this person? She don't know me. She doesn't know me. What incentive does she has to help me? Why would I email somebody asking her if she going to partner? It feels like I'm begging. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm asking her for stuff. Oh, Miss Shirley, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Miss Shirley gave us $9.99. Woo woo! Raise the room for Miss Shirley. She is one of my coaching clients. If you are interested in coaching, Yolanda is going to drop a link to set up an inquiry call if you are interested in coaching with me. So be on the lookout for that link. But yes, T, we have to watch our thoughts because I mean, it never translates into any kind of action. It actually translates into inaction. Or we already convince ourselves that it's a failure before we even try. But you haven't even tried it. You haven't even attempted it to even say it is a failure. And honestly, even if you do fail, the attempt helps because it gives me the confidence to keep doing it over and over again if I do, right? So if you find that your thoughts are stopping you from doing, let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if your thoughts stop you from doing like they do me. And I'm going to tell you how I what I do to reverse those thoughts, right? Oh, I wanted to say this. I got to get this out to y'all. One more thing. Another way our thoughts hem us up, and I don't want y'all to get discouraged by this, is when you watch other people. When you look at what other people are doing and you see, like, oh, they're successful. They just got a $50,000 grant. Why can't I get a $50,000 grant? And it's not that you're hating on them, I hope, but you're like, I need that for my nonprofit. Why can't it be me? Why not me? I'm doing good work, or shoot, sometimes you're doing even better work. Sometimes you're better than the people who are winning around you. I'll just be real. It is what it is. And so those are the kind of thoughts also, like you begin to think, why me or woe is me? Those are the other thoughts that can really, really hem you up. This is what I need you to understand. This is what I believe. I believe that what's for me is for me. Number one. What's for me is for me. What's for that person, I don't know what they had to go through. I don't know how or why they got it. That's not for me to understand. What's for me is for me. And I also believe that there's a such thing as divine timing. What's for me is for me when it's for me. But if I'm too busy watching everybody else, I'm too busy worrying about everybody else, then I can't get myself in alignment to receive what I need to receive. If I'm too busy looking over there when what's for me is coming at me head on, but I can't even focus because I'm looking over there, then I'm going to miss my blessing, right? So I need y'all to understand, like, it does no good to support negative thoughts. It doesn't help you in any way. All it does is create anxiety. It creates resentment, which honestly translates physically. It translates into your body, right? It translates in how you talk about your nonprofit, right? So you begin to speak negatively about your nonprofit, right? You don't speak in an inspiring way because the fact that you guys started something new, the fact that you decided to create something out of nothing, nothing existed in your community or there was a gap in your community, and you said, I'm going to create something. That's amazing. That's innovative. And if you don't talk about what you do like it's innovative or amazing, then you have let negative thoughts consume you. I don't know where this came from. I just got to say it. Just very inspired by this weekend, right? So don't look around at everybody else and miss what's coming directly for you because you're going to delay what's for you, right? You have no idea why or how somebody got what they got, and that's not your business. It's not your business, right? If that person wants to help you or mentor you, give you lessons, okay, then maybe it can be your business. But other than that, it's not for you to worry about why not me? Woe is me. Don't do that, y'all, right? So what you do to turn that around, I like to fight, and this is I'm in the midst of this right now. I fight fear and a negative mindset with discipline. I'm gonna say it again. I fight fear and a negative mindset with discipline. This word has been coming back to me over and over and over again. Y'all put discipline. And so when I talk about like when you leave this live, don't leave this live without committing to doing something different or believing something different based on what you heard today. Try to think about how you're going to be disciplined in doing that thing. And by discipline, I mean, what are you going to perfect by doing over and over and over again? Like, what's going to be something that it just becomes a rhythm for you, right? That it doesn't matter how you feel, it doesn't matter how it looks, you're committed to doing it over and over and over again, right? So ask yourself, what is that going to do? One of the things I like to tell people when it comes to their nonprofit, because you just got to keep going. It gets discouraging when you look at other people, but keep going. I like to use my startup workbook as a way to get people to keep going. Because a lot of people are like, I started my nonprofit. I got 501c3 status, or I'm waiting for 501c3 status. What do I do now? The startup workbook, and Yolanda's going to drop a link to it. The startup workbook, Tony, I'm still waiting on my super chat. The startup workbook includes 10 plus worksheets. And all it is questions, right? What are you going to do with this? What's going to be this? How are you going to do this? And it forces you to put different actions in place. And one thing you can do is take a worksheet at a time or a piece of a worksheet and say, I'm going to work this worksheet for a month. Every Monday, I'm going to tackle at least 2 things from this worksheet. That's discipline. If I decide every Monday I'm going to go through this 2 things, then Monday at the same time, then the next Monday, the next Monday, the next Monday, and then I'm going to look back and see what happened. What did I accomplish? That is one way you can actually use discipline to put actions in place. So I have my startup workbook. Yolanda has a special coupon code tonight. It expires at midnight if you guys want to. People love my startup workbook. It is over 90 pages, y'all. If you're trying to figure out what to do, just look in the workbook. There's an action. There's something for you to do. It's something you can do every day. I'm just telling y'all right now from that workbook. So I don't want you to miss out on that, because that in particular is a great way to get your mind focused, especially when you're not sure what to look for or what to do. All right. So that's number 2. Tony. All right. So number 1 top distraction is people, particularly family and friends. Number 2 is yourself, meaning your thoughts. And number 3, is a big one. Everybody put life in the chat. Put life. Number 3 distraction is life. And y'all don't get mad at me if I'm getting on Tony. Like I said, I know who he is in real life. He playing games. All right. Life. Thank y'all for putting life in the chat. So how many of y'all know that life, when life gets to life and it gets real. It gets real. And sometimes you can be on a path, right? And you see the path, you're working it, things are going well, and then something happens in your life that completely derails what you're trying to do. And this can happen with something with your job, something with your family, something personally, something physically. Life can really get to life in. And I'm going to go back and roll through these questions because I see a couple questions, so I'll try to make sure I do a quick Q&A at the end. And also, if you are BIP, if you're the $14.99 level, I'll stay on for a private Q&A if you guys are a boss in purpose. Yes, life be lifing, right? And I'll just say, even for myself, I will have the perfect plan in place because I love putting plans together, and I have my little goals, and then I will get a curveball. And the way my life been lifing lately, I get one curveball, and then 2 weeks later, here go another curveball, and then another, and then a month later, here come another curveball, and it is very disarming. I'm just gonna be honest, just kind of be as transparent as possible. It is disarming. It knocks me off my center, and it often takes me weeks to recover. And I am even right now in the recovery period. But I actually want to speak to y'all about that because it's actually coming. Tony, I'm just messing with you. Stop playing. Um, I'm going to speak to you because I'm in the midst of this right now. So, when life lifes, first thing I want you to understand is that life is going to happen. There's no way to prevent it. There's no real answer to not letting life distract you. But when you do encounter life, I want to say, first of all, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace, right? Sometimes you got to take a break. Sometimes you can't help it. So give yourself grace. Do not beat yourself up. Don't put yourself on an imaginary time clock and say, because I didn't launch my organization in the year I wanted to launch it, I'm now a failure. Don't do that, right? Don't do that, because what that's going to do is make you even feel even more guilty and delay you even more, right? The reality is, life, things are real and you can't avoid it. So that's number one. Number two, I want you to celebrate what you are able to do. That's number two. I want you to celebrate and be thankful and lift up what you were able to accomplish. Don't just focus on the shortcomings, focus on your wins, no matter how small, no matter how big. I want you to focus on what you were able to accomplish. Because some things y'all have gone through, you shouldn't have been able to do anything. You probably should have just abandoned your nonprofit altogether because it was so heavy. But that's all right, right? So the second thing I want you to do is celebrate your wins, and it's okay. But the third thing I want you to do is I want you to keep going even when you don't feel like it. And the personal, I guess, testimony I have for that is I had a very close family member, another one, die on Sunday. And as I told you, I am in Atlanta right now for a conference. And I'm gonna get through it. And I didn't know if I was going to make it this weekend because it was a lot going on. And I just didn't know if it was going to be possible. But I knew I needed to be in the room. I knew I needed to be around other Black women, business women. I knew it was for me, right? And so when it was decided, when my family member service, when it was going to be, it wasn't during the day where had to be in Atlanta, and I decided to go. I was not feeling it. I was a mess. Yolanda knows this. But I realized that just because life happens, it can't stop. And sometimes you got to push yourself to keep going, because the action of keep going will get you through. Now, I'm not saying like forsake yourself. Like if you're in a place where you just can't do it physically and all that, I'm not saying push yourself over the limit, but don't stop. If I had stopped, I would not have felt so inspired, even in my grief, because it's still sad. But I was still able to get some things this weekend because I decided to keep going, because I didn't stop. I was able to see my family, which was a blessing. And I was able to get a lot poured into me. And sometimes you got to position yourself physically to be poured into, even when life happens. And sometimes, all you can do is I just got to be in the room. I don't have the energy to do nothing else. And I didn't. I didn't have the energy to want to meet people, to network, or anything. I just knew I had to be in the room. And sometimes you just got to move. Sometimes you just got to move. Even when you don't understand, even when it doesn't make sense to you, even when you don't feel like it, sometimes you just got to move. Thank you guys so much for your support. Who and your condolences. So I just would encourage you, when life happens, just move. Whether they're baby steps, whether they're big steps, don't lose sight of what your vision is. Just keep moving. Like Finding Nemo, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. And the other thing I'll say before I recap is lean in to your community. That's why I said surround yourself with like minded people who understand, who can hold you up. I have a beautiful community. I have a very small, tight knit group of friends like Yolanda, but having that group around me allows me, like being able to lean into them, allows me to be held up even when I can't hold myself up. But having people positioned to be there for me helps me to keep moving. So don't isolate yourself as a nonprofit founder. It's really easy as a business owner to get in your own head and say, this is my thing, this is my baby, I'm gonna keep going. But you need to embrace community. You need to lean into people who know what it's like to be in your position, know what it's like to start a nonprofit, who know what it's like to have to deal with all the pressures of it all. Lean into that community, lean on them and lean into them. This makes sense, y'all? Does this make sense? I hope it does. I hope it does. All right, I'm gonna roll back through the comments. I'm gonna roll back through. If this was helpful, y'all, drop your badges if you're a BIP on YouTube. Let me know it makes sense. And I'll roll through some of the comments. I see your question, Rich with Attitude. I'm gonna address that as soon as I see these other questions on YouTube. April says, hello, beautiful queen. Hi, beautiful queen. Any recommendations for grant writers? April, email me at info@bossandabudget.com and let's just talk offline. I do have a group on Facebook, but I don't vet those people. So if I understand better what your needs are, and I do have like an inquiry form, you can outline what you need. I could try to direct you to some people, but just email me at info@bossandabudget.com and we'll go from there. All right. All right. I hope y'all are chatting it up. Yeah, Mariatu said, yes, it's very true. I used to get my feelings hurt when I asked someone to become my mentor, but now I just keep moving. Yeah, some people, they're going to be stingy about their knowledge, but that's all right. Find the right community that will pour into you. And even if it's not in your local area, there are online communities that will help you. Latricia said, what do you do when you feel stagnated during the process? And you may have felt like I answered already, but I'll just say, take care of yourself. Give yourself grace. Make sure you get rest. Make sure you get sleep. I'm just now realizing how important that is, even though it sounds stupid. My forever pastor, Kendrick Weaver, told me how important sleeping and eating is for your energy and for you to be prepared to do what you need to do. So, and like I said, have a community to support you and to pour into you. That is the biggest thing I found lately, is having a community. All right. Africa said, Do you speak on government contracts? Not specifically. I do have some experience in government contracts. What you got? What questions do you have? Um, all right. Thank you guys so much for your condolences. I appreciate it. And let me be honest, I need it. I need it. Woo, because it's been rough. How when you don't have a support team? So I would say, first of all, write down what a support team feels like for you. Write it down. Um, because we may say support team, but we don't know exactly what that means. And I think it's important to set your intentions and write down what you need and begin to seek that out. Right. So last year, I knew I needed an assistant, but I didn't know how that was going to come. And I didn't know what form that would take. And I didn't even know how I was going to pay that person. But I wrote down what I needed. And it took some months. It doesn't come easy. It doesn't always come quickly. But I began to like talk about it and make plans for it and write out a description. And I encountered a person who was able to fill that role for me, and she's doing exactly what I need her to do. So the first thing I would say is just write down what it is you need in support and then find the places that match what you need, right? And if you're not finding it in your current space, then expand your space. Expand what you expose yourself to. There's so much potential out here, especially online. So that's what I would say. And it takes stretching. It takes stretching to find new people. It takes you being uncomfortable, and you got to be okay with that. You have to be okay. I heard I heard somebody say at the conference this weekend. I didn't know I was going to go this long, y'all. Sorry. I always talk too long. And then when you meet me in real life, I'm very quiet. Um So I heard somebody say, like, if you're not prepared as a business owner to be uncomfortable, you're in the wrong space. You made the wrong decision. And I would say the same thing with nonprofit founders. If you're not prepared to be uncomfortable, especially if you're starting from scratch, then you made the wrong decision. Like this ain't easy. This is not light work. This ain't no light work. But that's okay. That means it's that much more impactful because of that. So just know that. All right. Um, oh, thank you, Yolanda. You're an awesome person too, even though you're mad at me right now. Um, Rich with Attitude said, I'm a founder of a nonprofit organization. I've had a hard time getting my board to understand their roles. We're all new to this, so it's hard for me to structure it. So, do you understand what the roles are? And are there opportunities for you guys to learn together? Because there are a lot of great resources online about the roles of boards. I have a few videos on that. And I often find that board members don't match your expectations because they have no clue what those are, and they don't realize like you need to be financially giving, there needs to be a secretary, and there needs to be a treasurer, and there are specific roles for those people, and they need to be active in the meetings and proactive. They need to be asking questions, they need to be designing strategy with you. So maybe learning together and discussing together a video that you guys watch together or an article that you read to help to get where people are. But also sometimes I think I'm gonna cover this in the summertime. You gotta do a lot of one-on-one work when it comes to your boards to understand where people are mentally and what their expectations are. Because people have different conceptions about what they think a board member is. And you got to develop those one-on-one relationships so that you can communicate the expectations and also be real when they're not meeting them, because there's going to come a time where some people got to go. Sometimes you gotta get rid of people. I keep these lives up until Tuesday, and then I save them for my BIPs, which are my special YouTube membership. And yeah, that's $14.99. All of my lives that I do, I just save, and I have a bunch of videos on YouTube. You can go on YouTube, Boss on a Budget, and you can find my videos on boards. I'm just going through the questions. Okay, I'll answer this last question before I recap. Are there any organizations, companies that help nonprofits find board members that are aligned with their mission? Yes, there are board matching services. You can also check out your local United Way. A lot of times the United Ways have like board matching services. Your nonprofit association may have a board matching service. Your chamber of commerce may have that as well. It just takes some digging around in your local community to see. But yes, that is a real thing, and there are services that will help you find board members. All right. All right, let's recap, y'all. So, three distractions I've learned that keep people when they're launching their nonprofits, keeping them from launching. First is people, your friends and your family. Second is yourself, your negative thoughts, and third is life. And based on everything we said, I want y'all, I'm holding y'all accountable now. I said I was going to do this. What is one thing? What is one action? And some of y'all already put it in the chat. So thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. What is one thing you're going to do differently or think differently as a result of watching this live? I want you to walk away from this different. Like, I like teaching. It's just something I like to do, but I'm not teaching just to teach. Like, I'm not wasting my breath for nothing. I'm doing this because my hope is that you're going to really change your community, because I believe you will. I believe you can, and I believe you will. And I believe y'all are the only ones that can do it. I believe there are some people who think they can do it. They ain't equipped. They ain't the right ones. I believe wholeheartedly people watching this have the solutions to make real change, because our communities are hurting, our families are hurting, and I believe you can change that. And so my job is to motivate you to do something different. My job is to motivate you to keep going, because somebody needs you. Somebody needs you, right? And so when you get discouraged, you feel like you can't do it, come watch a video so you can walk away knowing you can, and you will. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting Boss on a Budget. Because life been lifing, some of my things have been delayed, but I'm still staying in motion. So I am doing a startup challenge. It is a 5-day event where I go live every night and I talk about a subject. And so in April, I am launching. You'll hear about it in the next couple of weeks, but I'm doing a startup challenge, and the startup is all about how to position yourself so you can be paid for your nonprofit. So you can be an actual real business and get paid for the work that you do, right? And so that's what the startup challenge will be focused on, because I know a lot of you guys are really concerned about that, and you really want to be able to have the time and the energy and the resources to really do good work. So stay tuned for that, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. I'll keep this video up for 2 days, and then I'll take it down. See you guys next week. Be safe. Bye.